Excuse me, miss. Why are you dressed for laser tag?
Oh boy, you guys don't have any clue, do you? I'm here to stop the shapeshifters that are infiltrating your planet.
That's what I'm talking about.
Captain Marvel.
You know you're glowing, right?
Rated PG-13.
So I finally yesterday went to go see Captain Marvel. Finally went to see it. Yeah. So let's get it. Let's get it. Captain Marvel. Oh, where do we begin? Well, first off, I'm going to do a quick non-spoiler review. And we're going to get into the picks and the nitpicks, man. I know I'm slowing down on this one because I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I saw it yesterday. I saw it yesterday. I was going to do a walk around and do it when I came out of the theater, which would have been a better idea, but blah, say blah. Like, it didn't happen. Whatever. We here now. Non-spoiler. Let's do the damn thing. First off, let's just deal with the flick in it of itself. I liked it. I don't know what the big fucking deal was. It was nothing like I thought it was going to be. The way people shat on it, but I'm not surprised it was either. Because sometimes, I mean, especially in the fandom, we have this real ugly attitude about how we approach our films, and even the people that actually make the films, which is kind of sad, in a lot of ways pathetic. You know, and this is not me just trying to shit out here and slay no dragons. I ain't white knighting for nobody. You know, this is independent of the actress in it of herself. And we'll talk about Brie Larson. I'm gonna make a little thing on the spoilery thing about the other side into it. And I'll probably do like a little minute or so onto it. I don't really want to dig too deep on it because, I mean, this is not the kind of show for all of that per se. This is just a movie review. You know, I don't like to get into personal politics, but when we're talking about the films, we'd have to discuss the situation about its successes, its falls, what the fans don't like, what they like, the energy around it. We'll touch on it, but that's not going to be the crust of it, because I think a film should actually be judged on its own merits. With that being said, I mean, unfortunately, certain politics can kind of eschew the personality, especially because we have different types of viewership. The paradigm is a lot different than what it would have been in the 90s. I say that to say this. Its promotional material would have been nothing that we would not have seen in the 90s. It's pushing that it's a female hero, pushing it so the girls could get involved because we already knew the guys were going to get involved. It wasn't really any political energy around it. It just was, yeah, we're just trying to reach the girls now because we know we're going to get the dudes. So they'll basically take all the things that they can put in it that could appeal to a female psyche to market the film. They just market it. They already knew the guys were going to come to see it back then, and we wouldn't even paid attention to all that extra shit. We wouldn't have cared. We would have even been able to say that's spot on. They're trying to get the girls, but it was that was the obvious agenda, but it was never at the expense of the core audience, because you needed that to come out. Now, and that was in the time where before we really had like Billy Goat films like that at that. I mean, even if you did it, like, I think the only thing that was that kind of mega was going to win. Titanic didn't come out to the end of the year. The only things we had moving in the 90s that was like large blockbusters was The Terminator 2, a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger films, Van Damme, Double Impact, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And they were box office gold, but it's no different than going gold back in the early 90s or 80s was a big deal to the mid to late 90s, niggas was hitting platinum plaques, and then once a dude hit diamond, what we talking about, baby? What we talking about? Now everybody, you know what I mean? Like if you could be Nelly now, you in that bracket, you know what I'm saying? So I say that to say this. It was nothing overly done about it. I don't want to get into spoiler territories. I do see there's certain things if you want to nitpick the film to get there. And I do blame the marketing strategies for them overdoing it. That you didn't really need to, but like I said, the trailers wasn't too much of it. I mean, I see more with the Batwoman trailer, and I didn't hate the Batwoman trailer, but I see all the issues with it. You know what I'm saying? That said, this film was actually pretty good. They told the story of Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. They told it through certain flashbacks. Some of the shots was actually not that bad. But one thing I will say is, it's a lot smaller of a movie than I thought. Like, for her to be so intergalactic, even though this is her personal story, it just seemed real small. And a lot of, even though this is the only way you could communicate that they were like an insurgent team, so to speak, they were small, like a SEAL team for another planet. The only way we could kind of convey that is by using a lot of human terminology, and that maybe that's a nitpick. But certain things that they were doing were just too U.S. military to me. I was like, y'all talking like y'all in the U.S. military, not like some alien. But that said, I mean, I had to have the resolve that war is war. So certain strategies will always be employed. Some of the weapons I would have liked to have seen something more alien-esque with it. I don't know. That's just the nitpicking in me. And maybe I will save that for the nitpick, some of the tech things. Some of the tech things I thought was cool, alien, like how it worked and stuff. There was a scene in which I was like, how is that little girl knowing what the hell she's doing to change colors? But that's neither here nor there. Like, you know what I mean? And there was a little girl, so, you know what I'm saying? If you see the film, you know what I'm talking about. That said, it was still a good film, just a lot smaller than I thought, and safe. Was it a movie you needed to see Endgame? Nah. Some of the changes that they made, was it that significant? No. I have one change I really did not like. And it'll probably go into that on the picks. You know what I mean? But it was a good film. The script was pretty basic. I just liked how they kind of brought some of the memories in and how they interwove it within the shots, you know, to tell the story. I liked Monica Rambeau. Pretty girl. Her skin is just gorgeous. Like, I was some shots they had close up on. I was like, God damn, your skin's so clear, baby. Shit. but anyways, like, and the little girl, she was a cutie pie. Like, I liked Nick Fury. I wanted to see that imposing character. He could still be just as funny, but I know if you compare him from now to then, you could see some of it, but not so much. Like, I was cool with him being extra with the cat, but I don't know. Since Sam is naturally funny, I still would have liked to see that same kind of, even though he's a younger on the Shield team in its early stages, I would have expected still a man not that far off from the man that we got later on in the films, the Nick Fury that we know. I mean, I guess I expect to see some naivete, if you will, but the way he performed it, it was just more playing to the comedy. You know, I know you need a straight man, and he couldn't be the straight man when she was a straight man. Carol Danvers. In terms of Brie Larson's acting, she did good with what she was given. You know, her supporting characters was actually really cool. Like I actually really liked Monica Rambeau. I liked how for the time that she had, she held it down. She convinced me like she was a soldier. She convinced me of that. You know what I mean? And talking about like the time in which they were is not a big deal. And I'm glad that they didn't make it so paramount about, oh, they wouldn't let us fly. Now she said it like a person that is a fly girl would say it. Like, Dad, they wouldn't let me fly, and that's, I mean, I'm supposed to fly. I'm supposed to be in the sky, baby. Like, I like that type of energy, but that's just the way the military operated. We wanted to get into full combat, but they didn't allow it at the time. Boom, keep it moving. Don't make it the leg of the whole film if it's not the film. So they didn't push it to, and they didn't even put it in the marketing. That's something that Batwoman was damn near this close to putting in the trailer with all the extra stuff that she put in that made people on the internet in this day and age in the game in this climate recoil from what they did. Is like I said, the shots was good. The only thing that was bad about the film was it was a lot smaller than I thought. It didn't feel that 90s to me, other than the musical selection. So I wasn't really impressed with this time warp. I mean, other than the music, and seeing Blockbuster, I didn't feel like I was in the 90s. It didn't feel like a period film. So for me, I wasn't, it was supposed to be like 95. I wasn't like trapped in nostalgia with it. And it because of the settings, and that's why I said it didn't feel like a bigger film. Because of the settings that they chose, this could have happened last week and you would never even know. Outside of the musical selection, like the clothes wasn't that reminiscent of back then. I mean, not that there was that much environment that would make you feel like you needed to, other than her saying, "Let me tie this around my waist, this plaid shirt around my waist." Like I said, it didn't really. It being in the 90s, it didn't make you think like, "Dag, man, I'm really in the 90s." Nah, I mean, you kind of tell by the music selection. You kind of were told that from the very beginning. As soon as you seen the Blockbuster, you know where you're at, what year it is, and it was decent enough for the settings that they chose to show. You know what I mean? The cars were cool, but like I said, you didn't feel too lost like you was there in the 90s. And but like I said, at the same time, it didn't go against the film anyway because of the settings choices. It was so abstract, it didn't even need to employ that type of 90s ambiance. That said, how I feel about the movie, again, I liked it. It wasn't bad. Even if I had to rate it out of 5, it'd be a 3.5, a 3.5, and that's pretty good. You know what I mean? I say more like closer to a 3. A good film, can't hate it. If I have to letter grade it, I'd say maybe like a C plus. You know what I mean? To be fair with other films that I've given a B, because I didn't think it was that amazing, but it was a good solid C plus, maybe even a B minus, but a good solid B plus. You know, C plus, excuse me, a good solid C plus. You'll be entertained, you'll enjoy it. I'll watch it. I mean, it's not my. Is it in my lower? Yeah, it'll be in my lower films for the cinematic universe, but that doesn't say anything negative to Captain Marvel. I'm surprised it made so much, seeing how, like I said, it wasn't a impressive script like that. It really wasn't, nor was it that amazing. If anything, I mean, the interplay with the cast, to be quite honest, was the best. In terms of the villain, it was cool. It was cool. Like I said, it wasn't really intense. It was a safe film. Very safe. Now let's get into the picks, man. The big things that we could pick about it is what they did with Nick Fury. Like I said, this is a more naive Nick Fury, a gentleman that's much early in the game, but even then I would have expected a guy that's seen war would have been a lot more, not so comedic with it. You know what I mean? A little naive about certain things, yes, but not so comedic with it. How his interplay with Goose almost felt like it was another character. Not to say that it was bad acted. It just felt like it wasn't Nick Fury, whether this was an earlier Nick Fury or not. Monica Rambeau, I liked her character. I mean, other than her being cute, I don't know, just for what she did, she kind of stood out a little bit. Like, yeah, I know that they said it was Monica Rambeau was actually the first Captain Marvel with the name, because I know Carol Danvers from being Miss Marvel. You know what I mean? I just know Mrs. Marvel before Captain Marvel like that. You know what I mean? So I didn't know there was a legit Captain Marvel that was black before. And that would have been an interesting, she would have been great to play that. You know what I mean? Because she actually seems like a pretty decent actress for what they gave her. And I think she held it down. And the little girl, that's another pick. I think she actually, one, she was a good bounce for Monica, but you know what her innocence really helped with? It helped with kind of making Carol a little bit more relatable. It made sense why she was stiff. She had no memory. The little girl brought that out a little bit more to her. I didn't expect, like, maybe more her flashback, she should have felt a little bit more comfortable, and when she got to her memory. But then you kind of could see it. You know? I just think that, was Brie Larson the most amazing actress in the world? I would say that per se, but she wasn't bad at all. Like, she was pretty good for what they gave her. I see what people could say with the stiffness, so that'll be the next pick. Certain shots, I understand what they consider stiff. I don't know if that's just her, which kind of makes it say that she's a little stiff. She may be a little stiff with it, but to be honest, she pulled off a lot of the moments that you needed to have. Like, even in the flashbacks, kicking it with her best friend, she didn't really seem forced. When she first met her family, her peoples, her friends, it was gonna be a process because she still didn't recognize them. So it still made sense. She smiled. You know, like, I mean, all that extra stuff, she smiled. Like I said, she was what she needed to be for the role. She didn't put me off, take me out of the film, no kind of way. She was fine. I mean, was she impressive? I don't even argue that the script wasn't even impressive, so there wasn't much for her to really do. A lot of moments that she pulled off a little bit better than others, I will say. Her interplay with the girl kind of like brings you, like helped with the character. But by that point in the writing, she was getting her memory back anyway. So like I said, I mean, they didn't take too much out of it, but at the same time, I will put that as a pick for the simple fact that everybody was complaining about her stiffness, and certain moments you can see it, but at the same time, I think it's just how she does her performance. You know, it's just her way of acting. But and I see why you would say it's stiff, but it just seems like it's her. Like, some people got a way in which they talk, and it'll carry over no matter what kind of characters they play. Even though this is my first movie really seeing her in, or that I could think of, that may carry over into everything. But otherwise, I'll be honest with you, if no one really would have pointed out, I'd have just looked at it as that's just her, how she acts her roles out. Every actor and actress has a way. There's a Washington, when he's starting to give those big performances, he should get the point. certain ways. When Will's ready, he'll be real. He'll do a certain way of pointing when he's ready. You can kind of see it in Gemini Man when he's the younger version of himself. And I was like, oh, that's classic Will. But that's just Will. It's just how he performs when he's in his zone. That's him finding the character in the vessel, and the vessel in which he plays the role will have a lot of it will be very similar to how he acts out other roles, because he is still Will, and this is the way he would. This is how he looks when he does it. Some actors can take it over the top and completely change their whole mannerism. Not every actor can, but even then, you'll find something that's about a similar in there. It'll just be harder to find because you could really lose yourself in the character. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for the picks. The nitpicks is a little bit spoilery, some of the choices with the source material. It didn't seem needed to do that. And that's where I would be like, what was the point in changing it? You know, who were you trying to appease? You know, it was cool. Well, we'll do that in the nitpicks, in the spoiler nitpicks, because they kind of explain something why it makes sense. They changed the character like that, but then that's how the character was from the very beginning anyway. So it was like, then why did you change it? What was the point? You know, and I guess that's where you could quote unquote see the agenda in it, if you will. But like I said, it wasn't that deep. And to be honest, it wasn't that deep both ways. Whether you changed it or not, I just didn't see the point in doing it. But that's just me. The villains, very one-dimensional, not impressive. Yeah. And again, more changes that they did, I didn't see the point in it, because now it almost seems that, and maybe, and like I said, this is more of a nitpick, down the road you kind of you might have closed the door on something by changing that, which is cool, because it'll make people be like, dang man, I thought that was gonna come. I guess they're not gonna do that. But I kind of thought that would have been the way to go, to tell some more compelling stories in the MCU, really flesh out some character, get some real drama out of it down the line. But other than that, any other nitpicks I could have, really, you know me, man, I like good, like more deeper writing, but it kind of really wasn't needed for the story that they kind of wanted to tell. My biggest nitpick was Nick Fury and the villains. I wanted the Fury back in Fury, and they did a change with him that I thought was kind of crucial to his character. You almost made it a joke, and it was like there was no need to do that. And the big change at the end, which was kind of more of the quote unquote twist, if you want to. Even though I enjoyed it, I thought it was kind of dope. I didn't see that coming. Someone kind of mentioned it and spoiled that before for me. But when I got to see it play out, I was like, that's not that bad. It wasn't bad at all, really. It was cool, but it was like, damn man, but such a change on a big characters like that. Ah man. You know, this is why you have such a hard time with villains. You coming off of Thanos, the best villain in MCU, to be quite honest, to hold its salt, worth holding its salt. And then Hela was a real good villain. I liked Hela in Thor Ragnarok. But to have this be the villain, to do that to the villain, to change the villain so dramatically, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I would have thrown it to the wind like that, but I guess I thought about it down the line after I left to feel like, well, you still could. They still mentioned something else at the end, so they can always revisit it. So it's neither here nor there. But that's what I think. And that's it for the nitpicks. Let me know what you guys think. I want to say so much more, but I got to leave it for the spoilery. And I'm late to the game, but if no one's seen it, here goes my non-spoiler. In the next episode, we'll do the spoiler review, and we're gonna get loose with it, baby. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Save the spoilers on the next video. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what's on your mind. And like always, till I have a better outro. Chill.
I was ready to hang it up till I met you today. So you're not from around here?
It's hard to explain. I keep having these memories. I see flashes. I think I had a life here. But I can't tell if it's real.
We have no idea what threats are out there. We can't do this alone. We need you.
I'm not what you think I am.